The old saying goes, there's only one way to keep from getting old, and that's to die young. So we really need to take care of ourselves. Another thing when we talk about preventing accidents, taking care of ourselves, we need to look at the health aspect of it. Our lungs, our hearing, our backs. Do a lot of things when we're young, don't lift properly. I'm sure all of you have hurt your back one way or another. Those little hurts you get right now, you think it's no big deal, you get over them. As you get older, they come back. Every little injury you've done on your back, you're going to know about it later. We talk about dust in the mine. In years past, I'm sure you've all heard about black lung. Just about anybody that ever worked in a coal mine years ago ended up with black lung. There is still quite a few miners that get black lung. Through the technology and the way we do things, we pretty well prevent it. There's no reason in the world to go in that mine and breathe dust. There's absolutely no reason for it. We've got good ventilation. The dustiest job in there is running that miner. We got good water sprays on them. We got scrubbers on the miner. You don't have to sit up in the cab on the miner where the dust boils back to you. You can stand back out of the dust. And again, it's sad we have to get on guys and really hammer them to stay out of the dust. Right now, we're in a lot of trouble with MSHA. MSHA, we're on their blacklist when it comes to dust. I don't know how many of you have been down there when we've taken what we call respirable dust samples. We got a little pump that hangs on the guy's belt. It's got a hose that comes up to a little filter, a little cartridge. We clip on him up here. That pump will run and suck the air in it. And in turn it sucks the dust in and collects in this little cartridge. The little cartridge has been pre-weighed. At the end of the day, we box it up and we send it to MSHA, to the lab back east. They take that and they weigh it to see how much weight it's gained. If it's gained over 2 milligrams, we're in trouble. And what we do, like I say, the miner operator is the dustiest position in there. So we call that the high risk occupation. And so every other month, we go take samples on the miner operator. We take 5 samples. They send those 5 back, they check them out, analyze them, and take an average of those 5 samples. Well, in the last year, that average 3 times has been over 2 milligrams. We've had samples that actually come back 6 milligrams. That should almost choke you to death. I don't know how the guy could possibly breathe that much. And I'm sure just about all of us that's worked in the mine for any period of time, at the end of the day you come outside and you cough up big black goobers. That means you've been in too much dust. But that stuff you cough up is not the stuff that's going to hurt you. When we talk about respirable dust, it's a real fine powder. It's microscopic dust. That's what goes in your lungs. It finds a little cavity in there, a little hole, and it stays there. Is there anybody in here that smokes? Why? Why don't we smoke?
Bad for you.
You think it's worse for you than that dust?
Yeah.
You think so? I don't think so. You see somebody with black lung, ask him if it's worse than having cancer. Technically, it's the same thing. And especially if you get the rock dust. Not the rock dust we throw on the rims, but when they're in there mining, especially these seams we're mining rock to rock. We got a rock roof, we got a rock floor. And miner operator a lot of times is cutting rock. That rock is sandstone, made out of sand. Technically it's silica. Silica is what they make glass out of. Technically it's just ground up glass. Silica is 100 times worse for you than coal dust. Most of what they found, guys that get black lung, when they really detect it starts giving them trouble, they're in their late 50s, 60s, before it really starts affecting you. It's not necessarily when they was in their 50s or 60s they breathed all that dust. Just as you get older, your body can't handle it. That dust is in your lungs. It starts affecting you. Like I say, black lung, it's usually guys that are older that get it. With the silica, you get what they call silicosis. You've had guys die from it in their 20s. And again, it's always kind of amazed me. I don't think we have any people that smoke. We're real health conscious. We're not going to do, we watch what we eat. We try to take care of our bodies. And then we'll go in there and breathe that coal dust, or that silica dust. And I'll guarantee you can go in there and probably breathe it for 3, 4, 5 years. You'll never know it. Until you get older. Then you're going to know you did. And with black lung, silicosis and stuff, it's kind of like cancer. You see guys that smoked for 50 years, never did get cancer. Other guys smoke for maybe a year, they get cancer. With this dust, it's the same way. You don't know who's going to get it, who isn't. And unfortunately, you don't know yourself. There's a good chance everybody in this room, if everybody in here smoked, I bet there'd only be 4 or 5 people that actually got cancer. With black lung, it's pretty much the same way. With the silicosis, it's not. You get that rock dust a lot, you're just about guaranteed you are going to get it. So again, that stuff, it's ground up glass. It goes in your lungs and it actually embeds itself in your lungs. And you start growing scar tissue around it. Pretty soon your lungs are so full of scar tissue that there's no room for oxygen. So we definitely need to watch the dust in there. We need to stay out of it. And again, there's really no reason to be in it. We've got the boulder operators, the facemen, the guys running around cleaning faces and stuff. There is times when they end up in the return. They're going to get some dust. It should be very minimal. The way we try to mine, we try to keep the miner on the intake side, work its way across so that the boulder comes in on the intake side, and most of the time in the fresh air. There are definitely going to be some times when he ends up in the return. We have respirators. If you're in the return, pay to wear one. We have miner operators, sometimes they'll put that respirator on and think that he can go up there and stand in the dust, it's not going to hurt him. Big problem is these respirators don't take it all out. It definitely helps. But again, the dust we're talking about is so fine that you can't hardly even see it. It's just a real fine powder. If you see a guy that's been wearing a respirator and been up in the dust all day long, he comes down the bathhouse, first thing you notice, he's got 2 big old black streaks that run up right the side of his nose. Tells you that respirator don't fit that tight. He's sucking dust in alongside of his nose. And again, like I say, MSHA is really hammering us. They're making us change our ventilation plan. They blame it on we don't have enough air in the face. Maybe we don't have enough water on the miner. Realistically, we got plenty. You put all the air you want in the face. Have all the water on the miner you can dream of. You don't keep your Bradis line up. You don't keep your sprays plugged or cleaned. If you stand up there in the dust, you're going to breathe dust. Right now, MSHA comes in once a month and takes dust samples. They've got a special task force in Denver that comes out and spends the shift with our guys when we're taking dust samples. The bottom line is, if we don't solve the problem, MSHA will. They'll do whatever it takes. They'll be shutting the mine down, that's what they'll do. But they're not going to let us breathe the dust. And again, it's sad. We have to have guys clear from Denver to try to keep us from breathing dust. That's the position we're in right now. When we talk about health, what about our hearing? All you guys right now can probably hear pretty good. Hearing is another one of those things, if you lose it, it's gone for keeps. They can't restore your hearing. Once it's gone, that's it, it's gone. They can give you a little hearing aid, it's about like a microphone you can stick in your ear, so things are louder for you. They can't bring your hearing back. Now in the mine, we've come up with what we call a hearing conservation program. And again, MSHA's come up with some rules and regulations to try to keep us from going deaf. They're a little bit late for some of us. I have real bad hearing because of some of the stupid things I used to do. We got quite a few guys down the mine, the older guys that don't hear so good. Really no reason for it. We've got, when you talk about noise, we measure noise in decibels. And the way they've determined, through all the research and everything they've done, your body can handle 90 decibels for 8 hours. If you're in more than 90 decibels for 8 hours, it's going to start drastically affecting your hearing. And the way they've got it figured, if you're in 91 decibels, you can be there for 4 hours. So about every decibel it goes up, the time frame you can be there cuts in half. Once you get past 90 decibels, you're going to start doing damage to your ears. And there's 3 different types of noise that really going to affect you. One, if you're in a constant noise, which is something like if you're working on the tipple, that tipple's running all day long, you're up there 8 hours, it's just a steady noise all day long. You'll be in some areas that's an intermittent noise. It'll be real noisy for a while, and it'll be quiet for a while. It'll start back up and be noisy. A real good example of that is a continuous miner. You load a buggy of coal, shut it off, it's kind of quiet till the next buggy gets there, he starts it up, it's noisy again. The other type is an impact, or a real loud noise that's real quick, something like a gunshot. Any one of these types of noise can affect your hearing. I don't know if anybody's ever stood in front of a gun when somebody else has shot it. It's a big gun, it actually hurts. You get a loud enough one, It can actually break your eardrum. But a good steady noise all day long can destroy your hearing just about as easy. Take a little bit longer, but it'll get you. Now what happens if you ever seen the inside how your ears work? You've got of course, right inside your ear, you got back in that channel, you got an eardrum in there. And it literally looks like a drum. It works like a drum. And anybody, what is noise? Anybody know what noise is?
Vibrations.
It's a vibration or a shock wave. It's kind of like if you throw a rock into a puddle of water, you get these ripples that come out. It's the same thing noise is. When you go through the air. If you don't have any air, noise isn't going anywhere. At the same time, anywhere air can go, noise can go. That noise goes in, those